I am Cindy Winter, the NCFR Conference Consultant, and I will walk you through the process of submitting your proposal. All proposals are submitted online through Oxford Abstracts, the online submission database for NCFR conference proposals. Before you submit online, look at the proposal submission checklist on page 4 of the call for proposals. I'm in the NCFR website now, and so we're going to just click on call for proposals. I'm going to scroll down to page 4, and there is your proposal checklist. We encourage you to prepare your materials and required information before you start submitting your process online. This will save you a lot of time as you complete the submission process. So to begin your conference submission, you will be asked to enter your email address and password. You will be directed immediately to the submission system. Mandatory steps are indicated with an asterisk, and you must be filled out before you can complete the submission. Once you log in, you will immediately complete each question and submit at the end. I will show you the screenshots and complete a sample proposal in this webcast. So to begin the process, you click on the link which will be available in the NCFR website, or there is a regular URL, which we have in some written instructions about submitting a proposal. This is your first screen, and you sign in or register. Now, please be aware that if you submitted a proposal to the 2018 or 2019 annual conferences in NCFR, your name is already in the database. When you are asked for your password, enter the password from 2019, if you remember it, and you'll be directed to the submission form to begin your proposal. We'll see the submission form shortly. So if you can't remember your password, click on Forgot My Password. And then you put in your email, send me a reset email, and it says we've sent you an email, which will be there. And there it is. And so we will click on the link. I put in a new password. And then it's asked to repeat it. Click on reset. And there you're back to registering again. So then it says your password has been successfully changed. So for those of you that have never submitted before, you're going to sign in and register with your email. And I'm going to put in a new name. Okay, and it says email not found, register. Okay, so now I'm going to copy his, I'm going to type it in again. Okay, title, first name, and you'll notice that there are asterisks here, and that means that it is required, and you can't get any farther until you do that. Now I'm going to determine a password. And then we confirm our password. And then I register. Okay, so then here we start with the initial welcome message, and it gives you a lot of information about submitting. And you'll notice in here it says a field with asterisk is a mandatory question, which must be completed prior to being submitted. And then it talks about content. Now, the one thing that at the very bottom here that I want to point out is that it talks about spam filters. This is important because all communication regarding your submission will be sent by email from oxfordabstracts.com. Be sure to check with your tech administrator or on your own system so that all the emails listed above are on your safe list to receive emails. It's also a good idea if you think you need something, that you're missing something, to check your junk mail to see if there's anything from Oxford. Okay, the next step is the authors. And it lists, again, some good heavy instructions, and it's mandatory that you submit all the names and biographical information. You're going to begin by filling out the first author's name and okay, so then the next important thing right here is the presenting. At least one person, whoever is the senior author or presenting author, there must be at least one person that is checked in this presenting, or it will not work. And there again, that is absolutely something that has to be done. Okay, so for the first author in that, you'll put in the current job title and then the email. And the department. And where the degree was there, and we're just going to put anything in here. And but you'll put in where for the first author in that, and the current licenses if you have any, the discipline of the degree, and the highest degree earned. Just putting that in. Okay, then the employer would be either your employer or whoever, or if you're a student, it would mean this place where you are a student. In the country, we do need that, and that's a pull-down menu. Okay, so for co-authors, then if you want to add other authors, you would just click on add another author and it would ask you for the same things. Now, for co-authors, discussant, moderator, chair, facilitator, or any of the positions of those used if it's a symposium, click add another author and complete the same bio. For co-authors and symposium chairs, then all we need is the email and the employer and the country. And for any other things, just key an NA in the bio fields that you don't need. Okay, so then the next question is for student, new professional, and professional status for the first author. This mandatory question has a pull-down menu. And so you would indicate whether an undergrad or a master's student, a doctoral, new professional, up to 5 years past graduation, or professional. Okay, now if this is an additional question, if the first author is a student, if the first author or the presenting author is a student, then this next question you'll want to fill out. It says, is this proposal a result of the student's thesis, dissertation, or other research project? And then you would say yes or no. This is used to help sections determine student or new professional awards within their section. Okay, the next question, which is totally mandatory, is the preferred presentation format. and it features a pull-down menu. Before the question, there is a description of the different formats during the NCFR conference, which includes 2 new session types, which are described here. And there's, of course, the traditional ones that we've had for several years. All formats are considered of equal value and reviewed using the same criteria. You will select your preferred format, and then you can fill out a second format that you'd use. And the third part of the question is to check off formats that you would not consider using. Now, remember that the more choices in presentation format that you provide, the better your chance of being accepted if the review scores are high enough. Be sure that in the unacceptable formats that you don't list either your preferred or second choice. Now, we do have also one that would say none, so that if we don't have any, but if you want like don't want a poster or something like that, you would include, just click it there. Okay, so now the next thing that we have is to list your title. And this is mandatory. And you're going to answer the full title of your proposal exactly as it appears in your short abstract and your long proposal. We have a maximum of 20 words. And this will be used in printing online and printed programs. And then you'd put your title in here. And we're just putting in things. Okay, the next thing is your short abstract. And that is 125 word maximum synopsis of your proposal and may be posted online to describe your presentations. Don't list author names, addresses, or employers in the abstract because the computer program tracks the author identity. And you can either write something in, or another trick is to copy and paste from a document that you've already got and put it in here. Okay, so now the next question is for those who have submitted a symposium. And here is it wants you to list what the papers are, paper titles, and authors, and who's the discussant, moderator, chair. And this is going to help the reviewers and the section chairs. We'd say something like paper 1, and then paper 2. Okay. Okay, then we go into the next questions that are mandatory about measurable objectives of your proposal. Be sure that they are specific objectives as to what you want your audience to learn. And then you list your objectives in the text box provided. So this is number 1, first measurable, and this of course is mandatory. Second one is mandatory, and sometimes you could put 2, learn, or something like that, and then you want a third measurable objective. Okay, so there you've gotten all 3 of your objectives in there. The next mandatory question is the focus of your proposal. Is it a qualitative research study, a quantitative research study, mixed methods research study, systematic literature review, program, prevention, intervention, or evaluation, policy analysis, or an analysis of a theoretical, pedagogical, or research methodology? So then you use the pull-down menu and put whatever you want. Now, if your methodology is a qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods research study, then you're going to list the specific methodology, such as ethnography, structural equation modeling, and so forth. We'll just put something in there. If you use one of the other focuses, then you don't need to fill this out. Okay, then the next question is another mandatory one, whether your proposal is primarily research-oriented or practice-oriented. Again, pull down menu and you can just put in there. Okay, the next question is very, very important because we want to know where your proposal best fits. NCFR has 10 sections that promote NCFR's mission and the common interests of the NCFR members in specified family areas. You need to submit your proposal to one of these sections, or for students and new professionals, or the Theory, Construction, and Research Methodology Workshop for review. If you're not sure of where to submit, look at pages 6 to 12 of the call for proposals for a description of the sections. And if you have questions about the correct section for which to submit, please contact your section chairs, and their contract information is found in pages 6 to 12. So you're going to go in here and you'll see that the 10 sections plus students and new professionals. Now, you'll notice that ethnic minorities has changed its name, and now it's called racial and ethnic diversity in families, which I'm just going to choose for now. Okay, then the next questions, the next 4 questions are helping the section chairs figure out how to find reviewers and that. And you're asked to help the section chairs determine, and so this is for practitioner oriented, those submitted to the family policy section, family therapy section, and the education and enrichment section. So if you have either a practitioner, you'll just put, is this specific policy or practitioner? Yes. And then if it's family policy, does the presentation articulate policy implications in that? So the first 3 questions are yes or no. And if you did not submit to either the family policy or the family therapy, or your proposal is not practitioner, you don't need to answer these questions. Now, for the education and enrichment section, it will be necessary to key in something, because they want to, if you are submitting to education enrichment, they want you to identify this contribution of each author on the proposal. And so it could be things like conception and planning of the research project, data collection, data analysis, and so forth. So you would put that in if you need to put that in if it's for the family education enrichment section. Okay, then the next questions are regarding subject codes, and this helps identify the focus of your proposal. Now, in the past, we've just had one series of subject codes. This year, you're going to be asked to identify the subject, which talks about what the proposal is about, the primary population, which is your audience, and the third is the method or approach that you use for your proposal. So now, instead of up to 3 keywords, you may choose to identify 1 to 3 keywords across the 3 categories for a total of 3 to 9 keywords. Be sure to scroll through the list of each category to find the codes that best fit your proposal. You're required to select at least 1 code in each of the categories. The subject codes you select are matched with reviewers who have this expertise. Using up to 3 codes for each category helps to really identify the best reviewers for your proposal. So under subject code, then we have the topics, and you'll just scroll down and pick whatever is whatever works the best. Okay, now you have the option of doing a second or third code, and but you don't have to. But like we said, the more codes you choose, up to 3, the better it is. Okay, now the second code we want to explain a little bit. This is the population code. And please note that we've got lines in here that are, like we have the category, ability or disability, and it'll say do not select this line. And so what you'll do if you want a category of ability or disability, you would go down and search through, and then there's the next category that will start. And again, do not select where it says population category, do not select this line. You won't. Pick out one out of these, and you'll see it's quite a long list. And so I'm just going to put this in, and I'm not going to bother with the second and third codes, but you can. Now, the last method and approach code, that just has a single thing, but that will be the approach that you, method or approach. And I put measurement development, and I'm, again, we don't want to take the time right now to, and it's not necessary. Okay, now comments to section chairs or reviewers. Now, if there's something that you really want them to know about, you can key it in the text box there. It can be helpful to these people as they review and plan the programs, but it is not necessary. The next thing that you need to do is to load your long proposal. And there are explicit instructions here on how to do it, and also specific instructions for a symposium proposal. And so read those instructions very carefully before you load your proposal. Then this is where you're actually going to click on your proposal. So you see where it says choose file, and we're going to click on the file that we want and open, and you'll see it coming, and it says uploaded. And so you can, and then you can go in and download that uploaded file. Okay, the next mandatory question is that it confirms that all authors in this proposal have been approved. And so that means that you're not doing something that another author didn't want you to do. Okay, now the proposal status is that we want to be sure that we have new material and that it won't be published or presented prior to the 2020 annual conference. Now, if by some chance you've got, it says yes, then you need to fill out the next question and give an explanation. Now, the commercial interest, you only check this box if the question is true that the authors have commercial interests or associations that might pose a conflict of interest regarding this submission. And so if you don't have to answer either one of these questions. Now, the next one is a mandatory public permission to publish, and there are some things in there that you agree to, and that NCFR has permission to reproduce your short abstract, and then we can record, live stream, or sell audiovisual and that NCFR is the sole owner of all rights, title, interest, copyright, and some other things that you'll want to read all this, but it is necessary to sign this before this proposal can be reached. Okay, now the next one is the declaration of that authors will attend, because we make sure that at least one author of your presentation is going to be coming to the conference to present, and it also, they have to pay the registration fee, and there are some other things, and so you'll need to sign that. Okay, the next questions, the last questions, are ones that you don't have to answer, but you can if you want to. Are you interested in being a reviewer for this year's conference? And what you need to know is that you must be available to review proposals between March 13th to the 30th. And it says if you answer yes to this question, then you'll get an email back from NCFR that has a link to the reviewer database, and you must fill out your name and every information in that database, the reviewer database, if you're going to be reviewing. Okay, then if you have the names of some good people, you can put those in there. And then the last question is email me when the conference registration opens in March. So if you want to be reminded and get your registration in early, you can put yes, and you'll be sent an email. So then it says, thank you for submitting your proposal to the 2020. And it says you can make changes to your proposal by logging in, and it gives you that URL before March 2nd, 2020 at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. You're going to be notified about whether your proposal is accepted or rejected no later than June 1st, 2020. And then it says contact me if you have a problem or wish to withdraw a submission. Then you would click on submit. Now it says submission incomplete. Okay, and this is what is great, because it says, are you sure you want to submit? So what we would cancel, and it says the first method and approach code has no response. So we go back here to the method and approach. Let's see. There, and it's even outlined. So we put this in. All right, then we can go back and see, it even tells you where it is. So this is great. Okay, then you go to submit, and it's going for that. And there is a copy of what you're doing and what you've put in. And if you want to amend, you click amend, or otherwise continue. And there you are. And it says you've done this, and lists the title of your submission, and it says it's complete. And then if you want to do a new submission, you click on new submission, and you can start over again. Or again, you can amend anytime you want to. So what we want to say is that if, like I say, if you submitted in 2018 or 19, sometimes if you want to amend your proposal, you might see a listing of where you've been before, and it'll say 2019, 2020, 2018. Then if you get that, and you may not get this, then you would just click on view under the 2020 and go on from there. So remember, all your submissions and changes to proposals must be completed by March 2nd at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time. Good luck. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at cindywinter@ncfr.org, and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you.